All right, let's jump right into it. We're going to tackle one of the biggest, if not the biggest, question we can ever ask ourselves. Why are we even here? This isn't just some casual thought. It's the question that's been at the heart of human curiosity for, well, forever. And today, we're going to look at two totally different ways of answering it. So, are we really just animals? When you strip everything away, are we just a collection of instincts, just trying to survive like the millions of other species we share this planet with? Or is there something more? Was there a creator, a grand design behind it all? Or, on the flip side, are we just a one in a trillion cosmic accident, a random blip in a universe that doesn't even know we exist? And that leads to the big one. What's the point of it all? Is there some ultimate purpose to our lives? Or is this whole experience, our thoughts, our feelings, our consciousness, just a quick flash that disappears into, well, nothing? You see, these questions we're asking, they're not new. Not at all. They're basically the foundation of the human search for meaning. We've always been trying to figure out where we came from, why we're here, and where we're headed. And when you start digging into those big questions, you find smaller, but just as important ones. Like, are we just physical beings? Or is there a spiritual part to us too? Are we left completely on our own to figure out right and wrong? Or was some kind of guidance left for us? And maybe most importantly, does any of it matter in the end? Is there any kind of justice or accountability for what we do here? Okay, so to really start exploring these two different paths, let's first zoom way, way out and get a sense of our place in the universe. A very popular view today, one you've probably heard a lot, basically says that we're here because of, well, a coincidence. A truly amazing one, for sure, but an unguided natural process. And when I say zoom out, I mean really zoom out. Just try to wrap your head around this number, 200 billion. That's the estimated number of galaxies out there. Our own Milky Way is just a single one of those. It's mind-boggling. And get this, the sheer size of it all, it would take you 94 billion years to cross the universe, and that's if you were traveling at the speed of light. In this massive cosmic ocean, our little planet Earth isn't even a drop. It's like a single grain of sand on all the beaches in the world combined. But now, okay, let's zoom all the way back in from that cosmic emptiness to this one tiny blue dot. And what do we find? It's absolutely teeming with life. We're talking about an estimated 8.7 million different species. And here's the kicker. As far as we know, this is it. This is the only place in that whole vast universe where there's any life at all. And among all those millions of species, there's one that's just different. Us. Humans. We're pretty new to the scene, geologically speaking, but we ended up running the place pretty quickly. Now, if you're looking at it from that coincidence viewpoint, it's not because we're special. It's because of a crazy evolutionary jump that gave us this incredibly powerful consciousness. So this really brings us to two completely different stories about what it all means. On one side, you have the universe of coincidence. In that story, life is a beautiful accident. Our consciousness is just a fluke of biology, and when it's over, it's over. Annihilation. But on the other side, you have the universe with a creator. Here, life has a deep purpose. Our consciousness is an intentional gift, and the end is in nothingness, it's accountability. So, with those two big ideas on the table, let's dive deep into one specific answer from that creator side of things. The source material we're looking at today points to the Quran, and it makes a pretty bold claim that this text is the creator's own answer to all those big questions we started with. In fact, the perspective we're exploring here goes even further. It calls the Quran the most astonishing thing in the entire human story. That's a huge statement. So why would it say that? Well, it points to a few claims that it argues are pretty hard to ignore. Okay, so the argument here really boils down to three main points. First, there's this wild prophecy in the text that a tiny, oppressed group of people would one day basically rule the earth. Second, that actually happened, and it happened fast, within just a few decades. And third, the book itself, the Quran, has apparently remained completely unchanged, down to the letter, for over 14 centuries. That's a claim about preservation you just don't see with other ancient texts. And for the author of our source material, this isn't just some abstract idea. He shares a really personal story about how watching Carl Sagan's TV show Cosmos just blew his mind and filled him with all these big questions, pushing him right to the brink of agnosticism and atheism. And he says it was only when he really dug into the Quran that he found answers that felt, well, solid enough to pull him back. So, what is the central answer the Quran gives for why we're so different from everything else? It all comes down to this core idea, a concept called the trust. So what is this trust, or al-amana? Well, the idea is that God had a plan to give one of his creations a very special thing, a degree of authority, and, most importantly, free will. But here's the catch. It wasn't a permanent power trip. It was a temporary test, a kind of stewardship, just to see what this creature would do with it. And to give you a sense of just how massive this responsibility was, the Quran says that this trust was offered to the heavens, to the earth, and to the mountains, and they all refused. They were afraid of the burden. But human beings, we accepted it. So, when you boil it all down, what is this trust? It's the power of choice. Think about it. In a universe where everything else, from stars and planets to animals, seems to operate on autopilot, following fixed laws, humans were given this pocket of freedom, of autonomy. This free will, according to this view, is the single thing that makes us us. And this is really the climax of the human story. From this perspective, if we have this incredible, unique power to choose, then what's the choice? What are the options on the table? Well, it all comes down to two very different paths. So, path number one is what you could call the animalistic path. It's basically living by instinct. Just roam, eat, reproduce, and eventually die. It's about using the world to satisfy our desires, whatever they may be. But then there's the other path, the path of servitude. This is about using that free will to live for something bigger, a life of purpose. It means choosing justice when you could choose oppression, and putting some limits on your own desires to follow higher principles. And according to this viewpoint, that's it. That's the whole story. Our entire existence hinges on that single choice, a choice we have to make over and over again every single day. The choice between just being another animal and reaching for a higher potential. That right there is the test that we apparently signed up for. So there you have it. Two profoundly different ways to see ourselves. Are we just an incredible cosmic accident, totally free to make up our own meaning as we go along? Or are we here for a reason, holding this incredible trust? And if we are, that trust comes with a monumental choice that defines who we are. So the question that's left for every single one of us is simple, but it's everything. This choice is yours. Which path do you choose?